Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have our next guest joining us. Yes, it's Jennifer Savage. She is back today and the founder and owner of Savage Success Life Coaching. That's Savage Success Life Coaching.com. Might as well know the website too and check in right there. We're going to talk to her today about, of course, all her life courses, whether she's helping you with your life, career, financial aspects, relationships, spiritual guidance. She does it all. So let me have the lady of the hour now introduce herself. Go ahead.
Thanks, Jill. Thanks so much. So yes, I'm Jennifer Savage. I started my practice March of last year. I obtained my certifications as a life coach and a health coach. And my practice has definitely leaned into the life coaching. More specifically, it seems a lot of my clients are very interested in the career coaching. So it's funny how it kind of organically went into that direction. So most of what I do relates to attaining work-life harmony, because I say this all the time, there is no such thing as balance, like perfect balance in your life. If you try to strive for having perfect balance, you're probably going to burn yourself out. So that's why we kind of reframe it so that we're looking for harmony by giving ourselves grace to realize that at any particular time, we might have to focus more on one aspect of our life than others, be it career, be it family, whatever it is. And that will give you the ability to accept that you have these multifaceted parts of your life, and to be able to give any individual or multiple areas the respect and the attention that they need at that time.
Oh, beautiful. Well, you're here helping so many. And I know for today, you want to talk a little about finding your MOFA. And then people are going to say, what's MOFA?
What?
MOFA. What is it?
Absolutely. So MOFA is the motivating factor. So that's one of the first things that we do when I start coaching an individual with my program. We'll sit down, we'll have several conversations, and the first session we really kind of delve into why they're there and what it is that they really want to attain, and also why do they want to attain that, and I think sometimes it's easier to come in and tell somebody what you don't like about something. Like, I do not like, we'll just use an example. I don't like my boss. I don't like, how I'm treated in work. I don't like, my particular job and all that. So we try to, absolutely honor all that and kind of just keep questioning and probing until it's like, well, what do you like? Like, what is it that you do like? And you're telling me what is not present at this particular time in your career and all that. And that's great. That gives us a starting point. But like, what is it that you want? And the same thing with, what brought you here? Like, what was the factor that got you through the door to really, get into coaching and get into, working through something. So it might be in the door, like, I just hate my job. Okay. I want a different job. So if we stop there, then it's like, okay, well, I can help you with your resume. I can help you, things like that, which, are good tools to have, but we want to kind of figure out, okay, something has caused you to stop and say, I don't like my job. And, we start there and say, okay, well, why don't you like your job? Well, I don't like my job because I don't feel valued, because, my boss doesn't understand, they give me too much work. They don't understand me. I feel like, I'm not heard, those type of things. So then it's like, okay, well, what do you want? Well, I want to be creative. I want to have a job that fulfills me. This is what we want to get to. I want to have a voice that I can use. So once we get to where they're able to come to their own decisions in their own minds of what it is that they actually do want out of their career per se, then it's like, well, what's going to motivate you to dig into this and to really go through 15 sessions of coaching, 15 weeks of coaching. What's motivating you? And a lot of people might start with, I feel like I'm letting people down by not being fulfilled in my job. I feel like I need to do this for my family. I need to, I feel like I'm letting people down in work. Well, the important part is we can usually dig down deeper where it's like the personal reason. Like, I want to feel good in my job. I want to feel like I'm making a difference in this world. I want to, that's the motivating factor. It's, there are other factors that will, factor in, to your reasoning and to your decisions and all that. And it's never to be like, oh, just be, selfish and not consider anybody else. You do have to have self-awareness and self-love, because that's the whole thing. Once you get down to that, you will be able then to be those things for other people, but you need to be it for yourself first.
Got it. And the why behind the why, and we need to identify our desires, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And then once you do that, you can come up with, like I said, that motivating factor. The instinct might be it's for other people, and so that they see you a certain way or they feel about you a certain way. But really, truly, once we can get down to that, that personal part of it, that motivation has to be something that you truly, what your heart's desire, what you want for yourself. That's the key. That's where we get the MOFA.
Wow, I love it. I love MOFA. You taught me something new today.
Awesome.
Do you want to talk a little about, honor, what is, as you say, appreciation and embrace what can be our desire?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. So that's a huge part of it too. I think sometimes in life we get to where we're in our careers, starting back from even, your first career, you get into a job, you work at it, you may progress up, you may change jobs, whatever it is, but you make it to a point where you feel like you stopped kind of exploring and embracing it and learning new things and all that. So that's a huge part of career coaching, of really, life coaching in general, but career coaching. It's like, okay, again, it's easier to start off with what you don't like or what's not going well, but we want to always kind of rephrase it and reframe it. So you're like, what is it that I want? What is it that really brings me joy, that, brings me that? So we actually do start off with an exercise. I start off with an exercise with my clients where we'll kind of write down, we could even start with the negative. What don't you like about your job right now? What's not going well? And then it's like, okay, what in my career is going well? Or what can I change, or what can I do that will eliminate the parts that I don't like? So it's really, like I said, and this is over the entire 15 weeks of the course. It's really honing in on your own personal desires, and allowing yourself to dream again and to be excited about your job, and not just to kind of, sometimes it feels like my clients come, by the time they come into coaching, they're feeling like they're like living in this gray world where it's like almost like, okay, once they start to get their MOFA, once they start to identify their desires and all that, it's like almost like that old, the Wizard of Oz movie when the Technicolor like turns on.
Yeah, I love that.
That's what I want to get to, where it's like they're not like just, drudging through your life in all gray and all that, where you're living in color again, and you're able to find that in your career or your life.
And it feels so good when that happens. But a lot of times, in order to feel that vibrance, that vibrant colors, a lot of us need to clear out the clutter. And we're talking physically, mentally, spiritually, I'm sure, right? All the above.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that ties into one of the first sessions that we have too. What I'll usually do is kind of give like a little homework, not exactly homework, but it is, where we will talk about these different things that are desires, setting our MOFA, identifying these things. But it's like, really look at your life right now. And we all fall into this, where it's like, you have clutter, you have all of these responsibilities and clutter and things that are just kind of taking up space in your mind and your soul and in your body, whatever it is, that until you can clear out some of that you don't need anymore, able to bring in the new. You won't, there won't be room for the new. So we definitely go through an exercise where you kind of look at different things, and you could even start with, say, I started personally when I was going through my certification. My first one, and it was for the career one, was cleaning out my email, which is horrendous, which, trying to get in touch with me through email.
But isn't it amazing though? You feel so, it's so funny. I did that a while ago. I went through, I have like 40 something thousand emails and I never clear them out. And it feels so good to see that delete button when it goes, 1,000, 2,000. It feels so good. Now it's
I
stacking up again. I got to get back into the swing of it.
Absolutely. And that's the thing with me too. And now I have like several email accounts, so I have to kind of keep up with the different accounts and all too. But absolutely. And that's just it could be a metaphor, but that it's also a real thing. It's like once you have that, I'm starting a new career, or I'm starting, a new job, or new practice, and I want to, get organized and set it up. If I had this old clunky, spam filled email address where I'm trying to then build a business and have things at my fingertips that I need,
Yeah.
it's possible. So that's just one example. There are other things too. I mean, anywhere that you're feeling clutter, it could even be people in your life. That sounds kind of harsh, but are you surrounded by people that are just like not nurturing you and helping you to
Negative Nancy's, I call them, and Debbie Downers. Yeah. Uh-huh.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And you know what? It's like, not to say cut ties with everybody in your world, but we all find ourselves in relationships and friendships and work, relationships and all, where it's like they may have served a purpose at one point. You may have helped that particular person. They may have helped you. But if it's gotten to the point where you still have this energy around you, like you said, a Debbie Downer or something like that around you, that is not for you both. You're not in any way nurturing each other, helping each other. It may just be a part where you can just let go. You don't have to like call, break up with people and say, you're not my friend anymore or anything like that. It could just be cut those energy cords. Don't let that negativity, that energy enter into your force. You don't need it anymore. And then you have room to invite in positive energy and new people into your life.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing this. And by the way, at this time, let's remind everyone how we can contact you. Tell us the website, phone number, social media pages, and we'll continue to talk more about
Awesome.
a lot.
So it's Savage Success Life Coaching at gmail.com is my email. SavageSuccessLifeCoaching.com is my website. My phone is 856-371-8185. And I'm still tweaking social media and all that. I do have a social media accounts, but the best right now is to go to my website, and to reach out to set up a breakthrough session, is what we call the initial consultation, to see if my particular coaching is the right fit for you and we're the right fit for each other. The best is to reach out through email or through phone, and we can set up that consultation.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So let's continue on clearing the clutter for a second, right? Because you mentioned, it is the physical clutter that also, hinders our mental capacity. Because like I know I have a lot of clutter in my home and I try to get to it. And sometimes I do and I feel great, but then it just piles up all the mail on the steps and then children's clothes and it weighs on me. The moment it gets done, I feel a sense of relief. It makes me feel so good until it starts happening again. Any advice on how you stop the clutter?
That's an amazing question. It really is. And that's what I do help my clients do. First step is identifying it. I love the examples that you just gave. I think that we can all relate to that because there are certain things that you have. I know when my sons were still in the house, it would be like shoes. There would be shoes all over the front of my house. I'm like, did you just put them in your room? Can we keep one pair of shoes down by the front door? That kind of thing, like goofy stuff. But like you said, it's like when you feel that where it's just, it weighs down on you. So I think number one step is to identify what are, you can identify all, but even start with like 2 or 3 things that you feel are cluttering or are interrupting your energy flow of some way, be it physical or mental or whatever it is, and start there and look at them and say, what can I do today? What can I do next week? What can I start to do? So it's not to get overwhelmed and just be like, oh my God, my house is just like a holy mess. I can't, where do I even start? It's like with anything that you want to accomplish in your life, you can evaluate it big picture and then make a list if you're a list person like I am, or just mentally kind of think of
Yeah.
the top things that come to mind, and then break it down and be like, okay, well, the clutter, the mail, that's one thing we can start with. As I grab my mail and walk through my front door, instead of putting it on the step or putting it on my desk or where I usually put it, to get to it when I have time. There's several ways you can handle it. Now, if you have, young children that you're walking through the door and you have to take care of their needs first, absolutely, that makes sense that you would put it down. But is there a way that you can address it right away? Even just do that first skim through and be like, well, this is trash, this is trash, this is trash, toss that in the trash, and then just put the important things in a spot where you know that you will get to it, and set a time each day, week, whatever works for you, and be like, okay, well, I'm a bin person. Here's my bin for my mail. I'm going to put it here, the important mail, not, I threw away all the junk mail that I could identify first glance. Let me start here. And then, say Wednesday evenings, I know that, I have time. I have a half an hour where I can go through my mail. I'm going to put it right there and I will open it and address it. And same thing, trash what you don't need or what you've accomplished, file it as soon as you do it. That's my other thing. I'll take care of it and all that. I'll even put a little note like, paid this bill, whatever. But then it'll sit in another pile until I file it. Let me just do it right away. So yeah, it's same kind of thing. It's just taking it big chunks and big overwhelming things, and then chunking it down into more manageable pieces until you feel like you're more in control. Then you can move on to the next thing when you feel that you're ready for that.
Got it. And how important is exercise?
Exercise is huge for me personally, but then also I know for my clients too, it seems to be a hugely important thing. I know for myself that when I'm moving, especially because I'm so sedentary in my everyday life, in my job, behind a computer almost the whole time. So I need that time to move my body. I need that time to really just clear my mind, because it's very much associated, your mental, your physical, and even spiritual. So for me, exercise can be, going to the gym. It could be, having, lifting weights at some point. It could be doing a Zumba class. It could be like a physical activity like that. But even more important to me is to build in as much time as I can to take a walk, to get outside, to clear my head, to feel, some sunshine, to, connect with nature, those things. Because once I can do that, then I can, it helps me physically. It'll help with my weight. It'll help with my stress and all that. But it helps me mentally too, because it'll clear out the cobwebs. It helps me to focus on the here and now, the present moment. And this is why I suggested to my clients, find what works for you. Like I said, you could be a hardcore, I want to do, workouts. I want to, sweat. I want to be at a gym. I want to be ripped. I want to, that's great. If that works for you, that's perfect. And you may find that like sweet spot right in there. It may be, you're like, I can't, I have bad knees. I can't do all that. So yeah. So is walking good for you? Is swimming? Is, find what, one exercise that we do in the coaching, and I love this one, I just thought of it, is that I asked my clients, what did you do as a child? Like when you went out to play, like what brought you joy? What physical activity was it? Riding?
Oh gosh, yeah, it was riding bikes, it was playing kickball. It was even in the winter hiding like the fluorescent pink or yellow glove in the snow and having to find it. See, those things spark such great memories. Yep.
That is so cool. So that's the kind of thing you're like, okay, now if it's in the summer and you can't throw your fluorescent glove, that's okay. But in the winter, yeah, why not? Like play with, if you have kids, play with your kids, or, even just do it on your own. But try to find activities that you can do. And then you're like, why haven't I ridden a bike in so long? Why haven't I played in the snow? Why haven't I done whatever? So exercise doesn't have to be another thing that we have to do. Like, I have to take my vitamins. I have to, not to negate that I take vitamins, but it's not like I have to,
I know. I get it.
You want to keep that essence of playing in there and moving your body because it brings you joy, be it dance, be it whatever. So yeah, it's important that, and again, it's a personal thing. It's going to be different for everybody probably.
Great. And unfortunately, we are out of time. So let's remind everyone how we could reach you. Great conversation today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So yes, my website is savagesuccess.com. No, it's not. savagesuccesslifecoaching.com.
Got it.
Email is savagesuccesslifecoaching@gmail.com. And my cell is 856-371-8185.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you back as always. And great to see you here on the Zoomcast today too.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jennifer. We'll talk next week. Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.